On a Sunday afternoon in the southern Thai fishing village of Ben Nan Yong, workers unload their catch. Two things stand out in this scene. One, the entire crew is Burmese. In fact, around half of laborers in the Thai fishing industry are from Burma. The more startling discovery, however, is there's a boy, no more than 10, working on the wharf. He claims he's 15, the legal working age in Thailand. Welcome to the Thai fishing industry, a billion-dollar business built in part on the exploitation of Burmese migrants, no matter how young. While Burma is best known for its repressive government, it also has one of the world's lowest per capita incomes. Government controls, inefficient financial policies, and corruption have ruined the Burmese economy, so people leave, looking for a better life next door. The journey out of Burma starts on the Moi River that divides the towns of Mewadi on the Burmese side and Mae Sot in Thailand. An estimated 2 to 3 million Burmese have crossed into Thailand over the past 20 years and stayed. The first stop is the hundreds of garment factories just a few miles inside the border. Workers, like these, who are taken by lorry to their assembly lines, make around $2 a day.
You have to work at least 11 hours a day. You have to work 77 hours a week. You have only 1 day off a month.
Mo Sway is a Burmese exile and advocate for migrant laborers. He says many Burmese are victims of human trafficking before they even make it across the border.
There's one group working inside. They're like as a recruiter. They recruit the people to inside Burma to to border or Mae Sot. So the brokers in Mae Sot or other parts of Thailand, they take care of other part of the job.
Kun Mint rides his motorcycle out to the land he tends on the outskirts of Bangkok. He's paid okay and is given housing by his employer, which is kind of like winning the lottery after what he experienced the last year and a half. It started when he met a broker at a barber shop on the Burmese-Thai border. That man helped him cross over and eventually get to the southern fishing village of Chonburi.
When I arrived, the price on my head was $8,000. Then I was sold for $14,000. And after that, a ship's captain paid $22,000 for me.
By the time he started working on a fishing boat, Kun Mint owed around $800. He spent the next 6 months paying off his debt. Brutal boat conditions included little sleep, no medical care for work injuries, and even forced consumption of a kind of amphetamine so he could stay awake to work longer hours. Things weren't any better when Kun Mint and his shipmates got back to shore every few weeks.
They followed us with their motorcycles from the side, and they marched us like prisoners. As soon as we got there, as soon as they finished feeding us, they put us in a room and locked us up.
Kun Mint says escaping slavery at sea wasn't easy. If he went to the Thai police, they'd either deport him or sell him back to his employer. Eventually, he got in touch with a labor rights group in Bangkok, and they smuggled him out. Vichan City Chaikawat shows a diagram he drew of how Burmese like Kun Mint get into the fishing industry and why it's hard for them to get out. He manages a shipping company and is an advisor to the National Thai Fishery Association. Vichan says there are some bad apples in the fishing industry, but that criticism by NGOs and even the Thai government is misguided.
So they mentioned that, okay, these people working like a slave because they're working more than 8 hours basis. So this is, I think, is unfair to the industry.
He says much of the blame for migrant labor exploitation belongs with the Thai government that doesn't enforce its own immigration laws.
And you imagine if you have people in your country, 2 to 3 million people, without knowing who are they, where are they living. Are you accepting that?
In response, the Thai government is in the midst of a migrant registration drive, signing up as many people as possible. Being a legal migrant can mean better pay, access to workers' comp, and even Social Security.
But essentially you're protected more, you can negotiate with your employer more,
Andy Hall is a foreign expert on migration and labor issues at Bangkok's Mahidol University.
If you register from being undocumented to being documented, I think you can avoid quite a lot of the exploitation by the police.
But Hall admits being registered doesn't ensure better days for all Burmese migrants. Case in point, the far southern fishing village Ben Nan Yong. It's home to around 30,000 Burmese. Some of the workers here have become formalized with the help of a local NGO. But that hasn't stopped local officials and employers from committing various forms of abuse, like making Burmese workers wear orange vests with their employer's name and a personalized number. The vests cost a few dollars, money that most don't have. And although many now ignore the rule, enforcement continues. This young Burmese teen was arrested by local police for not wearing his vest, put in detention, and then deported. He came back right away. There is hope in Thailand that migrant labor conditions and treatment of workers is improving. But the International Labor Organization's Neelam Barua says the root of the problem, Burma, remains the same.
So there should be more options to them at home. The migration choice should not be a compelling one. They should have options to stay back and work where they are.
Or in the case of this boy, the option of not working. He spent the entire afternoon with work gloves on, helping unload a ship's catch. As both his home country of Burma and his new country of Thailand continue to look the other way, his chances of a childhood and a future are slipping away. For Time Video, I'm Jesse Hardman.